और ये मैं आसमान की ऊंचाइयों में बहुत ऊंचे, पूरा कोहरा ही कोहरा, चारों तरफ कोहरा ही कोहरा है.
Whenever someone gets to know that I'm a pilot, there are certain questions that I'm asked for sure, and this question is one of them.
बेटा एक बात बताओ, एयरलाइन वाले इतनी कंजूसी क्यों करते हैं? हर पैसेंजर को एक पैराशूट क्यों नहीं देते? सबकी जान बच जाएगी ना?
Alright, hang on. Watch this video the entire length, because in this video I'm going to be explaining to you guys why airlines don't have parachutes in these bigger passenger aircrafts. So if you guys are ready, fasten your seatbelts because we're ready for takeoff. What's up fellow gators, and welcome back to the FlyTuber, flying simplified through YouTube. My name is Asghar, and on this channel I talk about interesting aviation facts just like in today's video, and also aircraft theory and flying tips, etc. So if you guys are new here on this channel and if you want to know more about aviation and its interesting facts, and if you haven't subscribed yet, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You can do it by clicking that red subscribe button or on my channel logo down here. Well, the very first reason why airlines don't have these parachutes for passenger safety is it is not economical at all. They are really bulky, they need a lot of space, so much that they can't be even fit under your seats, and they're also quite expensive. Just a random Google search that I did told me that each piece of these parachutes can cost about 25,000 rupees, which is a lot considering the number of passengers that each flight has, and then there are multiple such flights with a single airline. So that's a huge cost, and the story doesn't just end here. On top of that, these parachutes will also have to be regularly opened up for regular inspections, that they are in good proper working condition, just like your life vests and other safety equipments. So did you guys know that these equipments are not just put in the aircraft once and forgotten about? They undergo regular inspection, and the parachute would have to undergo the same process and repacked and then put back again, which requires manpower, and that would add up to the cost of the airline. Continuing further, each parachute can weigh up to 20 kilograms. So say if you have 200 passengers carrying capacity, then you are carrying about 2,000 kilograms extra weight, which most probably you won't even use, because statistically the data says that your flight is going to end up safely, right? And also on top of that, you also need to carry extra parachutes as a backup, just like we have extra backup life vests other than those under our seats. This extra weight that we are carrying will highly affect the fuel consumption. We'll need more fuel, and also the total distance that we can travel will also drastically reduce. So in order to compensate for that, we'll have to either offload some cargo or even passengers, which makes it really impractical and uneconomical to use the parachutes in the airline.
देखा, मेरे को पहले से पता था, ये सब ना सिर्फ कंजूसी की वजह से है.
Alright, fair point. So if you say that the airlines are greedy or they should include this extra cost in the ticket fare, then probably you should listen to these more practical reasons. The next reason is training. You require about 5 hours of training even before you can attempt your first solo jump, and about half an hour of training will only be required for you to know how to strap the parachute on and how to deploy it open, and which on a open ground on a grass or itself is really difficult for a fresher, let alone in a really confined space just like an airliner, or in that such a high stress situation. And on top of that, many passengers won't even be able to strap it on their own, like elderly people or children, let alone jumping with it and deploying it and then landing safely.
बहुत ऊपर है, अरे मम्मी रे, अरे बाप रे, बस, अरे नहीं भाई 100-200 ज़्यादा ले ले, लेकिन लैंड करा दे. भाई 500 ज़्यादा ले ले, लेकिन लैंड करा दे.
अरे मेरे को तो आता है पैराशूट यूज करना और जंप करना, कम से कम मेरे को दे दो, मैं तो बच जाऊं.
So you're saying that you know how to strap the passenger and make the jump on your own. This, other than being unfair with other passengers, there are also some other issues with you being able to leave the aircraft itself, which you must know. So the first issue is with the door itself. That door is not opening at all, because the aircraft is under a differential pressure of 7 psi or 7 pounds per square inch, meaning that each square inch on that door will need a 7 pounds force to open the whole door up. So if you do the calculations, and a typical A320 aircraft door would need about 18,500 pounds of force, which is about 8,500 kilograms. It's equivalent to you lifting an 8,500 kilogram thing, which is a lot. And even if you are regular at gym and if you have a lot of strength, still you cannot open that door. And even if you somehow manage to open this door up, maybe blow it or something, still there are issues with you being able to leave the aircraft, because these doors are side facing, meaning as soon as you step out, the airstream will push you behind and you will go and hit the wing or the tail surface, and that will bring fatal injuries, or even worse, you might get sucked up in the engine and you're spot dead in that case, because the engines are wing mounted or rear mounted near the tail surface. So in order to overcome this issue, you'll need a completely separate ramp setup in the tail section of the aircraft, just like certain military aircrafts have, from which the soldiers make the jump.
बेटा, अगर आपको इस वीडियो से कोई वैल्यू और इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है तो वीडियो को लाइक कर दो, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो और दोस्तों से शेयर कर दो। कर दियो तो वो अलग बात है, कर दो, बच्चा खुश हो जाएगा। हाँ बेटा, क्या बोल रहे थे, फिर से बोलो।
So I was telling that you need these ramp exits in order for you to exit safely, and even if you have these ramp exits, still there are certain issues with the outside conditions. So one reason is that airplanes are at really high speeds at those cruising altitudes, and if at that speed you step out and get exposed to these really fast airstreams, then you might die on the spot because of your neck twisting and breaking, for example. And also the temperatures over there are really cold. It can get up to minus 56.5 degrees Celsius cold at 36,000 feet and above, which is really out of the normal zone for a normal human being, and you would need special suits to keep yourself warm. And other than that, the pressure at such high altitudes is also very less, and the O2 levels or oxygen levels are also drastically low, meaning that you would only have 30 seconds, and within that time you will go to sleep and get unconscious and eventually die of hypoxia if you don't get enough oxygen in time. So in order to overcome that, you will need extra oxygen masks and oxygen tanks and the regulator and special suits and all of those sorts, and also each for each passenger, and also along with the backups. So all of this makes using a parachute really impractical.
तो करो ना ये सब अरेंज, इंसान की जान से बढ़कर है क्या?
तो करना, परेशान हो गए हम लोग 2.5 साल से, ये भी परेशान हो गए, हम भी परेशान हो गए, करो फिर।
That's right. So let's say that we have arranged all of these things, but there is still one point that would prove that still using a parachute is still impractical. Well, statistically and historically, if you were to see the data, then most of the deadly air crashes happen very close to the ground when the aircraft is trying to take off or land, and at those low altitudes, these parachutes are really ineffective because right, you need certain altitude for the parachute to open up itself and then slow you down to slower and safe speeds. Not saying that malfunctions don't occur at high altitudes, they do occur, but that too they are very rare, even less than 10% of the entire number of flights throughout the year in the whole world. But even then, the aircraft won't just fall off the air like stone. In fact, they are aerodynamic, so they would glide like leaves. And only in a case of mid-air breakup and total disintegration of the aircraft body would a parachute be useful. But most of the time, such disintegrations and such mid-air breakup are sudden, without any warning, like sudden bang and bomb explosion, for example. And in such scenarios, you won't have time at all to don and wear these parachutes and strap them on, let alone being able to deploy them open and getting back to safety. So all in all, the summary is using a parachute for passenger safety in the airline is impractical, and it's really unusable in keeping you guys safe.
हाँ बरोबर, अब मेरे को सब समझ आ गया। हाँ, खूब चांगला माणूस है रे,
खूब चांगला माणूस आहे रे बाबू।
हाँ पता है, इन लोग का ना सिर्फ पैसा बचाने का बहाना है और कुछ नहीं है।
Well, I can't do anything about guys like you, but I'm sure that you guys understood what I'm trying to convey here. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope that you like this.
एक सेकंड रुको, जब बड़े बात कर रहे होते हैं बीच में बच्चे नहीं आते, थोड़ा साइड हो जाओ। हाँ, तो बच्चों, अगर आपको इनकी वीडियो पसंद आई हो तो वीडियो को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब कर देना। सब्सक्राइब सबसे मेन बात है जो आपको अभी इसी वक्त करना है। मैं आपके लिए रुकता हूँ, ठीक है? बहुत सही बात है, अब मेरे को समझ में आ गया, बहुत कर दिया। ठीक है, तो मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए हैप्पी लैंडिंग। आ गया मजा? हाँ आ गया।